lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the pit complete. He's crazy stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Good evening, sim racing fans. We're back under the lights with a short track Saturday night this evening, live in Hampton, Virginia at the Langley Speedway for the 2015 Season 2 Championship with the Bootleg Racing League Outlaw Modified Series exclusively on the Global Sim Racing channel. Here at the virtual Langley Speedway, up in the GSRC broadcast booth, as always, myself, Evan Pasoko, Sean Ambrose, and our director back with us is Kevin Brown. Sean, this is a very exciting racetrack. We've seen a star-studded really lineup, not only of drivers, but of tracks so far. We now roll into the next event, and you talk about a track that is difficult to drive on. Corners 3 and 4 different than 1 and 2, and only 6 degrees of banking for these guys to put these modifieds on. Not a very easy task.
Not a very easy task here. This is a tough little bull ring to get around, Evan. Turned a bunch of laps here today, and none of them were pleasurable, to be really honest. Yeah, this is going to be a tough race tonight. Now it looks like we're going to be a little bit down on car counts tonight, but modified races around the country have been used to that over the years, and we're going to have to get used to it here tonight. But yeah, it looks like right now we've got 9 drivers in, and we may wind up with 9 or 10 to start this thing. So it's going to be competitive, and it's going to be quick because it's only 3/8 of a mile around this track, and or I'm sorry, 0.395 miles around this track. And well, you do the math; it doesn't take long to get around, and somebody's going to find another car in front of them real quick here. Real hard getting in these turns, and even harder getting off with any momentum. A little bit different configuration than we're used to seeing, Evan.
You got to get those things to hook up, get off the corner. So far, 9 drivers have entered the sim. None of them so far to put down a time at a practice session. Again, no qualifying. That is based on our results from 1 week ago, but it is currently Ronald Henry's number 75 machine that sits atop the board in the practice session. How about that? A 14.850 to sit on top the pile as they run right now. A couple of the drivers still on track, many of which as well, just sitting on the pit lane, waiting to get this one underway. We talk about, though, our last time out here. Thompson for round 6. Michael Holloway taking the checkered flag in that event over Donnie Moore, Ernest Brown, Matt Hoos, and Brad Speidel throughout the top 5. And that one was in a very exciting race. And it's funny how it was a very dominated race by a couple of drivers early. They couldn't get the results that they wanted. Holloway, at the end of it all, the only driver to lead any laps out of the finishers inside the top 10.
Yeah. And you know, we're going to look at the standings right now, and I got to be honest with you, Christopher Hensley, if he doesn't show up here real quick, he's going to be in trouble of losing his spot at the top. Donnie Moore and Matt Hoos are here, and they're just behind Christopher Hensley, only 1 point with 41 points. Tied with them is Matt Shinosky. I don't see Matt here right now either, so Matt could lose a little ground tonight. And lurking right back there is Ryan Nuss, and he is here. Ryan Nuss in 5th place with 40 points. Lowell Jewell there in sixth place with 39. Brad Speidel, Brian Neff there, 7th and 8th with 36 points. And in 9th and 10th, Ronald Henry and Kenny Morris. So some of these guys are going to be able to make up some ground tonight without any drop weeks in this series. You know, a few guys are going to miss out because they're not here tonight.
And what we have is if you don't get here, you can get a maximum of a 2-point provisional depending on that situation, but that's nothing what a 10-point for a win would be. And we've talked about these points throughout these last couple of weeks. They have taken up dramatically as far as people falling out of the top spots or gaining points, but really when they do it, it is at such small intervals, and we saw it there when we looked at the standings. 1 point separates first all the way through fourth, and really the top 10 separated by just 7, so there's not a lot of time, as we said, for error, let alone missing an entire start when you consider the fact that in this championship hunt, which tonight after this, closing in on what's going to be the final 4 or so races in this championship, that may just all she wrote for some of these guys if they're unable to make it to the grid.
Yeah, well, pretty unique points system here in this league, so with everybody getting the same amount of points in some of these positions here, you can make it up, but to have to miss a race altogether without a drop is going to be really tough to overcome if you just don't get those points in a given week. This could be a tough hit for our leader, Christopher Hensley, but again, guys that are here could benefit and just make a tremendous leap up the points championship this evening. We're going to see a great race. There may only be 9 cars here, but all 9 of these guys can wheel it like no other, and I look forward to seeing this tonight here, Evan.
What that limited car count may lead us to see tonight, Sean, that we don't normally see when we have about 15 or so drivers, and it does happen, but a really long green flag stretch with 9 cars, although this Langley Speedway is difficult to navigate, that gives these guys a little bit more room to, run around each other and whatnot. That could bring a little bit of tire degradation into the conversation, which again, really hasn't been a hot topic of discussion so far. So tonight could have a little bit of a different pace than the races that we have seen in the past. Let's talk about this Langley Speedway, though. Has a capacity crowd of 9,000 race fans that can pack into this facility that's been in operation for over 65 years. Located in Hampton, Virginia, was known as the Langley Speedway, the Langley Field Speedway. My favorite, personally, the Dude Ranch Speedway. I think that one needs to come back, Sean, but it is Langley Speedway, under the lights, short track Saturday night. It does not get a lot more exciting than that. We talk about who's not here. Let's let you know everybody that is here, and you see the practice results right now rolling through the bottom of the screen as Ronald Henry fastest on track. The only way you can get that is by pushing it, and just had a little bit of issues there. He's a 10th quicker than anybody else right now with a 14.850. Second on the board with a 14.951. Philip Temples, you got Ernest Brown, Matt Hoos, Mike Holloway, Donnie Moore, Tim Knott, Ryan Nuss, and Kenny Morris. You're seeing for the practice session, Sean, these drivers trying to find that edge so they don't step over it in the race, but if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in practice. They're trying to see how hard they can push these things.
Well, and hey, let's talk about some news here hot off the press this evening. Brian Neff, the number 60, usually used to seeing him in the Winn-Dixie colors. Neff is serving a 1-race suspension tonight. And, Ronald Henry lost his sponsorship, and he's decided to lend a hand and run the Winn-Dixie sponsorship tonight there in the number 75. So we'll have a new paint job on the number 75 tonight, running the Winn-Dixie colors. But the big news is that Neff is not here serving that suspension tonight.
And that suspension was issued to that team at Thompson for what was considered over-aggressive driving there late in that race. And aggressive driving is a part of modified racing, Sean. We've seen a lot of it, but race control decided to draw a line in the sand, and they felt like the Neff team went over that, so they are not going to be here. A 1-week suspension. Talk about how somebody doesn't make the grid tonight, that can hurt them. Well, suspension as well, equally going to be as costly to that Brian F. team, considering that, again, they're still relatively up there at 0.6 points off the top spot. This will really drop them down. The two names that I think that can really benefit from a good run tonight here, Matt Hoos, third in the championship, as well as Donnie Moore, second. Both of them only 1 point behind Christopher Hensley. Appears that Hensley's not going to be able to make the start here unless he hops in the final 60 seconds. Both those guys being only 1 point down. They'll for sure knock Hensley off the top spot, but they have to worry about each other, and they're not all that far away as far as where they run right now. Hoos has scored in 4th. Donnie Moore has scored in 6th. That could be a great fight in what could become the championship battle out of tonight.
Yeah, it could be, and you know what? I'm going to cut Christopher Hensley some slack. He did have a baby a couple weeks ago. I want to congratulate him again, and certainly if he's not here, we've got to just imagine that means quality family time with a new kid, and he gets he gets an okay pass for me for missing this one tonight. Got just less than 15 seconds to go, and we're going to grid up here, Evan.
On tap, as always, 75 laps around this point. 395 miles speedway, totaling to just 30 miles before we reach the checkered flag in the Hampton 75 here at Langley Speedway. Again, double file restarts. Well, that is going to be a little bit modified rolling forward. But again, we need to talk about the tire rule. No tires, or that's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, if you have to go into the pits, you can't take any tires, so you got to make sure you have those things unchecked when you get out on the track here, and you will lose all your points if you go up on the jack and remove those tires and put new ones on.
We'll run you down through the starting grid here at Langley Speedway for round 6 on the 2015 Outlaw Modified Series Season 2 Championship. And again, the top 8 tonight set by a full field inversion from 1 week ago. A couple of drivers not here from last week, so a little bit shuffled up. Pole position, though, is going to go to the number 13. Ryan Nuss will start on pole position in this one. Alongside him, going to be the 05 of Kenny Morris in second.
Yeah, and then in third, we're gonna have Matt Hoos starting inside there in the number 21 machine, and just outside of him there in fourth, outside of the second row, we're gonna have Ernest Brown in the number 8 machine.
Donnie Moore will roll from P5 in the number 26 SPCE New Hampshire entry as they roll from the grid. P6 is going to go to the number 31 machine. That's Michael Holloway's Folds of Honor Wounded Warrior Project entry on the high side. Looks like Sundrop may be on board this weekend.
Ronald Henry there starting on 7th on the inside, and the Winn-Dixie machine we talked about. Just on the outside of him, Tim Knott in 8th, and rounding out our field in 9th place, Philip Temples in the number 19.
So 9 drivers going to do battle for the 6th checkered flag, and we're glad to have you with us on this short track Saturday night, and Under the Lights only makes it that much more exciting on the Global Sim Racing channel. It is going to be Ryan Nuss, the number 13 machine, going to be on the inside of the front row as we get set to throw him down into corners number 1 and 2 for the first time with 75 laps on tap. What is the nature of this race going to be with only 9 drivers? The field inversion. Can Nuss in that number 13 machine maybe capitalize on something, as he only sits 2 points off the top of the championship and 1 point behind the drivers we talked about most, Donnie Moore and Matt Hoos. The pace car gets set to dive down to the safety of pit road. 13 car in control. Green flag flies at a corner number 4, and green flags out at the Langley Speedway. Down to corner 1, 3 wide already, going backwards very quickly as Kenny Morris is in the middle.
Kenny Morris just nowhere to go there, stuck in the middle of that sandwich, and it was Matt Hoos that really pressed that there initially, but right now, Nuss, yeah, we had a little bit of contact there, but Nuss is just, what a jump by Nuss on the start of the race. We're really getting, it looks like we've almost got some trouble here at the back.
Yeah, well, they made contact. You mentioned it there. Kenny Morris in that 05 machine got stuck in the middle. The 31 tried to put a move on him. That was Michael Holloway. And you see they're cheating that yellow line down there. They can do it, and they will get a great run off the corner. More contact now. 31 gets hit by the 05 all the way to the grass. There goes the number 8 machine. Ernest Brown around. He's stuck on a hill in the grass on the inside of 3 and 4. I don't think he can get that machine off of it.
Yeah, and our pole sitter, Ryan Nuss, is he's managed to find the back of the field already. Not sure exactly. I must have missed what happened there up front, but Ryan is definitely off pace and now sitting there behind Michael. I'm sorry, he's sitting behind the Tim Knott. He's sitting behind Tim Knott right now.
We saw those troubles for Ernest Brown. That machine spun. You saw it on the replay. Went up against the inside retaining wall in quarter number 4. And then got stuck because there was a hill there in the grass, which was lifting the back tires off of the racetrack, could not get back going. He is forced to take the virtual tow via the virtual tow truck to the pit lane. Going to have a little bit of a penalty before he's allowed to roll off. Already fallen to 3 laps down. So Ryan Nuss, who got that great jump, you said, sliding all the way back to P5 right now. How about Philip Temples, though? That number 19 machine, Derek Spear Designs in the back deck lid of that entry from 9th to 4th early. He's not letting Ronald Henry or Donnie Moore get all that far away. The cars 2nd through 4th, very close together. You're on board with Philip Temples. He gave a shot to the 75 the last time. That's Ronald Henry, continuing to be aggressive.
Yeah, I'm just checking in with Ryan Nuss right now. his car is definitely off pace. I think he knocked the toe out on that right front. He is really aggressively on the wheel. I see those front wheels turning and him just wrenching on that wheel. That means the toe is out on that. He's going to have trouble wheeling that car around here. He's losing every lap to Philip Temples. The good news is that Holloway and Morris and Knott are still far behind him there, a little over 6 seconds behind him. So he's going to be okay. If he could just get a yellow flag, he might be able to get in and get some repair on that machine. But right now, tough going for Ryan Nuss, our pole sitter.
And it didn't help that 13's cause it all, and he's in the fence again. Trouble the 13. Ryan Nuss hard into the outside, now back down into the inside wall. Caution flag will fly. That car torn up as heavy black smoke pours out of the back of our pole sitter, Ryan Nuss. Was gonna say, Sean, that it didn't help that when he went to the high side, he got freight train down low, and then it was big trouble there. Caught the fence yet again, struggling to get that car to rotate on corner exit. Plowed the outside wall, bounced into the inside wall, and a caution flag will drop at lap number 12. Matt Hoos gets up behind the pace car. Great run for that Jags number 21. Talked about how with the absence of Christopher Hensley, may be able to gain some points. Well, he's doing everything he can to ensure that. The number 21 goes from P3. He leads at Langley.
Yeah, and I didn't mean Ryan had to be the caution flag. I meant that he needed one to get some repair, and well, unfortunately, he got it the hard way, and our pole sitter is in and now back out on the track. Quick pit stop for him. No tires, no jack, no nothing. Just a clean, fresh race car to get back to some racing here. But Ryan's going to have to do it from the back of the field now. He's going to have 7 strong cars in front of him. Matt Hoos will lead him off when we get back to the green flag, Evan.
Donnie Moore moves up to second, so the 26-21, two of the drivers tied for second in the championship. So happy to be running 1 and 2. And again, we said that this could become our championship fight out of tonight because of the absence not only of Christopher Hensley, but as well of Matt Shadowski, who was again tied in that 3-way battle with Moore and Hoos for the number 2 spot, all with 41 points to Christopher Hensley's 42. You take a look at wins so far this season. Christopher Hensley, the only driver to get multiple wins so far. Ronald Henry has 1, looking to get 2. That machine looking pretty stout. Everybody inside of the top, we'll say everybody inside the top 6, this is an impressive number, has moved forward in this event, Sean. Our race leader started 3rd, 2nd started in 5th, 3rd started 7th, 4th started 9th, etc. All the way down to Tim Nunn, who started 8th up to 6th. Holloway is also in the positive by 1 spot, so a lot of these guys passing from being very fast, but some of them being able to advance their position due to the misfortunes of some others, mainly Ryan Nuss and as well Ernest Brown, who has been able to get off of the virtual tow truck back on track but loses 4 laps. Lost 5, gets the wave by this time. He needs at least 4 more yellows and nobody else to fall off the lead lap if he wants to get back in this thing.
Yeah, apparently when Ernest spun around there earlier, he got stuck in the fence or the wall and had to take a tow, and that cost him dearly as he's now showing 4 laps down. Did get one of them back there with that wave around, but tough break for Ernest Brown there to be so many laps down now.
Lights go off on top of the pace car, so we do see for the first time the single file restart procedure being implemented this evening at the Langley Speedway. Hoos, Moore, and Henry, the top 3 as they trail behind the iRacing.com Ford First Mustang pace car. Sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane, and absolutely no time wasted around. The 21 already on the accelerator to quarter number 1, trailed by Moore and as well Henry. Everybody due to that single file restart. Single file for the moment in the 3.
Yeah, and back of the field here, 3 cars just kind of, I think Kenny Morris had a little bit of trouble there in the start, and he had Ryan Nuss and Ernest Brown stacked up there behind him. And Ryan Nuss gets into the back of Ernest Brown there and goes around. Ryan Nuss is around and no yellow flag. I'm going to have to go back to him, but right now he got into the back of Ernest Brown and went around by himself, and there is no yellow flag, Evan.
In the 13, a self-spin in quarter number 2 that sent that machine around after, again, that checkup in front of him that you mentioned. Barely tapped Ernest's machine, and he tried to give that wheel a little bit more yank to it, spun her around, and that's why he falls back once again. Side by side for the number 2 spot to the bottom, through, made the pass. That's 75 of Ronald Henry, who has been so aggressive, now 5 spots in the positive, started second, and with that move, takes the number 2 spot and drops Donnie Moore back to third. Meanwhile, Philip Temple's trying to hold off a charging Mike Holloway. 31 was all over him the last time by. He's got about a car length of breathing room this time.
Yeah, and that's really where the race is right now. Is back here is we see we're riding along with Michael Holloway right now, and he has got all he can handle right now with Temples right in front of him there, and not doing a lot to close the gap right yet. It looks like right now Holloway's probably taking care of the car just a bit. Easy track to wear brakes out on. And we've got 75 laps, and looks to be almost 50 to go here. It looks like he's just right now conserving the car, but Holloway having a good run, keeping it clean and running a good line right now. Car looks steady. Look for Holloway to be a contender before this night is over.
And you go on board a little bit further back and take a look out the back end of that number 21 machine to the scramble behind him, and right there is Ronald Henry. Very much like we saw Ryan Nuss get a great jump on the start of the race, got a huge gap, and then everybody freight trained him. That may be what's going on with the 21 machine, because Hoos has a lot of pressure in the 75 as he tries to set up that 21 to make a pass. He's got company in his own right. The 26 machine all over him. Philip Temples, Mike Holloway, everybody inside the top 5 within 1 second of each other, starting to put a lot of pressure on the 21 of Hoos. And if the same thing happens to Nuss, that 21 gets forced up to the high side, he can lose at least 4 spots in one go at it. Now they're starting to get racy. The 75 with the first attempt at that chrome horn, letting him know he's there in one. Yeah,
well, Donnie Moore put the chrome horn to Henry, and it's like, hey, buddy, let's go. Let's get this thing going. So, yeah, it's getting pretty tight and low. There's Donnie Moore getting a little bit of the chrome horn from Philip Temples. So this top 5, these top 4 right now, they are wrestling pretty hard, man. And, you know, we still have a lot of race left in front of us. We haven't even hit the halfway point yet. And, man, it is on like Donkey Kong.
They remain separated by just 0.8 of a second of each other. They're pulling away from everybody else. How patient are you if you're that 75 of Ronald Henry, Sean? We saw that Winn-Dixie machine gave a little bit of a bumper to that number 21, letting him know he's there. Because he can't get around him, he was moving faster than Moore, Temples, and Holloway. But because it's kind of checked up here behind the 21, eventually you got to think that if Ronald Henry doesn't go forward, the 26 is going to go around him, and now Donnie Moore gives the 75 a shot.
You know what? We might as well make it a chain race, because right now those guys are just locked up. Those top 3 are just locked up on each other's bumpers, and it's not going to be long here before we see somebody get out of shape at the rate they're going, Evan.
Very aggressive racing, still shy of halfway past the 3rd distance in this event, but still Matt Hoos defending. There you go, the move to second to the inside, shuts the door. Can he force it in there? He does. The 26 of Donnie Moore to the bottom. The 75 shut the door on him. The 26 ushered that 75 up the hill a little bit. Yeah, that's that freight train we talked about. The 19 trying to get down low, can't do it. Be very careful if I'm that 26 if the 75 gets back to my bumper.
And man, Holloway's just sitting back there with a front row seat to the action in front of him, and just praying right now that one of these guys will get out of shape and he'll slip that car down inside and pass all of them.
Well, Donnie Moore with the move down below the yellow line, something that we have seen a lot, especially on restarts. Almost made contact and eventually basically just moved Henry out of the way without touching him. Otherwise, they would have wrecked. You look on board with Philip Temples. Temples in that number 19 machine. Looking up at the battle, and it seems like 1, 2nd, and 3rd swapped out, getting a little bit more spread out. What does Donnie Moore have just in front of him? The good news for Temples is, and you were saying it, Sean, is he can see the leaders in front of him. He knows that he is in striking distance and in a position that he could capitalize if any of them have a mistake. He just needs to make sure he's not in it.
Man, our pole sitter's about to get a lap down here. He's got these guys coming on him quick. And Ryan Nuss is just not having a great night. It was great to see him up there on the pole, but he's having trouble hanging on to this thing, staying on the lead lap. He needs a little bit of luck right now, a little intervention.
bobble from Ronald Henry out of 4 that forces the Winn-Dixie 75 to enter the quarter a little bit low. Hangs on, no problem. But it's right, and you talked about it. We talked about the top 8 inversion, so if everybody that raced last week was here, it'd be pretty easy to tell that our winner from last week would be P8, and the guy that finished in 8th would start on the top spot. That was a little bit shuffled up, so not exactly, but same concept due to the lower number of cars tonight. We don't normally see, though, the driver start on pole, and again, okay, you can call them an 8th place car for the week before, but going on pole, they know that. They put a lot of practice in. They're very strong. We also say how this Langley Speedway is so very difficult to drive, and you're seeing that with the top 3 still at each other's throats back down into quarter number 3. Not an easy task for Ryan Nuss, and as you said, that machine not all that far away, just about 2 seconds and change from getting lapped. It could be really interesting when our leaders catch him, considering that they're all single file and stacked up on each other, but Donnie Moore really starting to get creative. Got to the back bumper of the 21 now, 2 corners in a row.
Yeah, well, Temple and Holloway look to be maybe even getting a little bit of impatient. Temple, right? Oh, Temple is
oh, there goes the 75.
There goes the 75. Yep. Oh.
Oh.
And he takes a shot from the number 8 car, Ernest Brown. Ouch. That hurt.
Caution flag will fly at Langley. We knew it was coming. You can't be bumping on each other every single turn, and we thought it was going to be for the lead because right there, it was the race leaders that were getting together, but you saw in the replay, 75 machine may have had to check up a little bit because in front of him, Donnie Moore was trying to rip the back axle out of the race leader, Matt Hoose's entry. They checked up, and in the end of it all, the 75 got turned around. Were we just talking about Philip Temples being in a spot to capitalize as long as he's not in it? He gets damaged. Michael Holloway involved as well, and then really tough break for Ernest Brown, who was coming in here. That machine already laps down, trying to ensure that he'd get a lucky dog spot, goes high, and absolutely pile drives that number 75 Winn-Dixie entry. A big 4-car incident down in corners 1 and 2 puts us under our second caution flag of the evening, and this time just now past halfway.
Well, tell you what, been a pretty exciting race here. Yeah, it's our second caution flag, but that's been it. I mean, those front 5 have just been battling lap after lap after lap, and I'm really shocked that we got as many green flag laps as we did in there, Evan. I mean, they were the horn was in play and frequently. I think just about every lap, and amazing job by these drivers just to hang on to it, keep the cars on the track.
The top 5 were separated by no more than 9/10 of a second for at least 15 laps there nonstop. That was, we said single file, but they were all over each other again, bumping, beating and banging, going down low on each other, shutting the door. You could see Matt Hoose running a protective line over that number 26, Sean, because typically you want to swing it wide to the fence, maybe not all the way up against it at this racetrack because the straightaways aren't all that long, but you swing high, you dive it down. The 21 almost ran the bottom end of the corner because he wanted to not let Donnie Moore get down low. After that's how Moore got around the 75 earlier by seeing that open door and capitalizing on it down into 1.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, these front 5 cars are going to be hard to get around. Guys like Kenny Morris and Ryan Nuss and now Ronald Henry, who finds himself back there, they're going to have trouble making their way back up to the front of this field. It has not been easy to pass here tonight, Evan, and I think we're going to see that for the rest of the race. Right now, the only move to pass is to make the space on the track by yourself, and kind of just bull rush your way through down there on that apron below the yellow line. We've seen a lot of it. It can be a preferred line down there, and several guys have made it work already, and I think it's going to come into play again before this night is over.
Contact up front, bull rushing your way through. That doesn't sound like our last time out here at all. Green flag drops now down the pace car. Gets out of the way. Matt Hoose in control once again. Donnie Moore follows him. Temples, Holloway, not Morris, side by side, back to back. Eddie Morris and Ryan Nuss, they fight for P6. That was a good break for that 13, the caution flag, because he stayed on the lead lap.
Yeah, Kenny Morris, though, was 3 wide with those guys back there with Nuss and almost lost it, managed to keep the car on the track and going, but Nuss had to check up, and now Nuss finds himself again at the back of the pack.
slotted back after he was on the outside of that battle. We now close in. Lap 50 done. Lap 52 in the works. Inside the final 25. Can Donnie Moore in that 26? When he was on the back of the 21, he was so aggressive. Can he get back in that position to try to make something? He catches the fence at a quarter number 4. A pretty good lick on that 26.
And we got the 05 around. Kenny Morris is around on the front stretch. And that brings out the caution.
There was contact in front of them, and the spin going to come from a solo car incident. You see the Harley-Davidson 05 of Kenny Morris into the corners, got pressure from behind him, and just spins it, loops it at a quarter number 4, goes down, locks up the brakes, comes to a complete stop, facing the wrong direction, still on track though, and that brings out the caution flag for the third time tonight. Very quickly off of our last restart, that might be good news for Donnie Moore, maybe to get another shot at a little bit of a better restart. Matt Hoos was enjoying the small cushion that he had, but this caution does mean the 21 has a little bit lower number of green flag laps he has to defend against the 26. Really under caution, Sean, I think is the only time you can guarantee, if you're Matt Hoos, that Donnie Moore is not going to hit you, because he's shown he's not afraid to use that chrome horn at all.
No, sir, and we talked about it being in play. Kenny Morris looked like he was just a little bit too quick back to that pedal, squeezing it off a little bit too hard there, and that car went right around. Fortunately, it didn't collect anybody with him. We're going to get back to green flag racing here pretty quick, and nobody's going to have to duck into the pits.
We sit with 7 cars on the lead lap. Final car on the lead lap is still that number 13 pole sitter, Ryan Nuss. Behind him, Kenny Morris's 05 machine has fallen off at a lead lap. Ernest Brown, once again in the number 8 car, is going to receive a lucky dog, so he'll get one more lap back. Was initially 5 down. Looks like he's 3 down and may have gotten a couple of wave rounds, so he's gotten 2 back. Still needs 3 yellows, so I don't know if there's quite enough time to get all of those, but Kenny Morris in front of him would be the provisional car to take the next lucky dog, because he is in front of him and only 1 lap in the negative. It is Matt Hoos, Donnie Moore and company. Lights still on top of the pace car, but so far all 9 that started still out there and running on track, 7 of which are on the lead lap.
Yeah, and you know what? Matt Hoos has been strong on these restarts, and I don't expect to see much different here. He's been clean on these last 3 restarts and just really gotten such a nice jump that he's been able to put space between him and the car behind him. And really on this track, we were talking about how different it was. If you've got clean air and all you have to worry about is driving the track, that's probably your best strategy, because that will open doors for you, as they say.
And sometimes they might open the door on their own or just run it over. We have seen time and time again, and tonight's starting to look like a little bit of a repeat from the last time we saw a very exciting finish back when we were at our last race just 1 week ago at Thompson. Contact up front, late, beating and banging. It's everything that short track racing is, and it looks like we may be on slate for yet another. The pace car lights are off, and it's going to get down and out of the way and release the field in control of Matt Hoos. This time by the start-finish line, going to take lap number 59. Green flag flies, and just sitting at over about 17 or so laps to go.
That jump was incredible. I mean, it just shot out of a can, and Kenny Morris
he's gone. He's half a quarter ahead of him.
Yeah.
That's one way to get the job done. A 1.1 second gap. That's the distance that we squeezed 5-6 cars in the last time we were green, and it is all Matt Hoos now by 1.3.
Tim Knott was in the wall and got just a little bit to the side there of Ronald Henry. Henry's okay, and Knott's still going. So Ryan Nuss there just on the inside of Tim Knott almost got into the back of him.
And Henry appears to be still struggling with the handling on that number 75 Winn-Dixie entry P5 on track right now, but he is loose all over the racetrack. The number 13 place machine right now, rather the number 13 Ryan Nuss, but last place car on the lead lap in 7th. He is trying desperately to not come last out of this group of cars, trying everything he can to get around Tim Knott, maybe a little bit too slow and unable to do so. Donnie Moore now goes back on the attack, but that restart was so key with Matt Hoos having the ability, Sean, as the race control car there, to go on the pace car or wait till the drop of the green flag. It's not all that big of a time frame. Well, he went right away, went 1.3 to the good, now down to 0.7. as Donnie Moore starting to close in. They've already picked off 0.6 of a second on him. Question is, though, with the laps winding down and 11 to go, do they have enough time?
Okay, here comes Ronald Henry. He has found the groove again. He's got his mojo back, and he's running a hot, fast line right now. He's got Mike Holloway in his sights. He's getting ready to close up to his bumper here. Great race going on here by Ronald Henry. He is back to the loud pedal, Evan, looking strong, looking to contend with this top four.
Well, Matt Hoos, you can't say that he's not looking in that rear view mirror, closing now, 0.6 of a second. Donnie Moore, Philip Temples, the Arsenal coming up quickly, now down within less than half a second. He'll meet him with about 5 laps to go or less. The question is that if we don't get a caution, if we get one with less than 4 laps to go, this race ends under a yellow flag condition. Donnie Moore might not get to Matt Hoos in time to try to pass him. He just might have to move him.
Yeah. Well, here we go. It is. The race is on right now, and we only have 6 laps left now. This is going to come down. Oh, what? I'm not sure what happened there. What happened to Temples? He got off pace and just dropped right back there. Another position gain for Ronald Henry. He's gotten to the back door of Michael Holloway right now.
Looks like Temples just got caught up on the high side and dropped from 3rd to 5th, just like that. 6 laps to go. 0.4 of a second. Is Donnie Moore starting to run out of steam, or is Matt Hoos starting to pick up the pace down through quarter number 4? 5 laps to go at Langley Speedway. Matt Hoos, who started 3rd, looks to take the championship lead out of tonight. He's got Donnie Moore right behind him.
Henry with the move. Henry with the move. And Donnie Moore got loose.
And that makes it more of a battle for second than a battle for the lead. Now the 75 trying to get second to the apron. He gets into him. He turns. Donnie Moore, 26, gets turned into the outside wall. Caution flag will fly. That is going to end it. And in about 15 seconds, Sean, the question went from if he'll get the win to if he can just hang on to second. A small mistake on his own part by catching the wall allowed those guys to close in, and a number 75 machine that has been very loose all night drove it into the inside and just took him out.
Yeah, might be a little tension in the over the wall after this race. Henry stuck it in there like he's done all night, and the result was the same. It didn't end well.
We had seen that move to the bottom happen multiple times tonight. Henry tried to make it work, and when they go to the bottom, they're typically riding the apron. Well, I think that it was a really good job on behalf of Donnie Moore to give that car on the inside, despite the fact that it was a dive bomb, but what do you expect late? He gave him some room, but the 75 just drove it a little bit too hard and got into the 26, and it's not much consolation for Donnie Moore. Just said how he is trying to take this championship. So is Matt Hoos. They're both tied in the point, Sean. Well, now, instead of maybe only trailing Hoos by 1 point, he'll be trailing him by a couple of them. But it does appear, at least, that Matt Hoos is going to pick up his first win on the season. And it does also appear that he will jump to the top of the championship standings after Christopher Hensley is not here in this race. You want to talk about some numbers in his 6th start? Once again, going to improve on an average finish of 5th. It's going to be the first checkered flag on the 2015 season 2 campaign with the Bootleg Racing League Outlaw Modified Series. Quarter number 4 for the final time. He started 3rd, he wins it all. Checkered flag will fly, and Matt Hoos takes home the Hampton 75, winning the race this evening at Langley Speedway, and doing it in a fashion where we almost thought he wouldn't make it to the end, but somehow hangs on.
And Henry manages to come from the back after that last restart and finish second. Again, probably not under the best circumstances, but he does do it. And Michael Holloway, who just ran a really solid, patient race for that, he gets a 3rd place finish and up there on the podium with these guys tonight.
We're not going to try to predict anything, but we did talk earlier. Brian Neff has a suspension from 1 week ago, and didn't we say that one ended after guys up front bouncing off each other, spinning and through back-to-back spectacular finishes? It's when they flip the lights on that the short track racing really ramps up. All everybody else looks like they're coming down to the pit lane. Matt Hoos goes out there into 21. He wants to celebrate this one, and you don't want it to be marked up, Sean. as Ronald Henry taking out, Donnie Moore, that won Matt Hoos's race, because he had to drive 15 laps in the middle portion. He had to get those great restarts that he had late to be able to capitalize on this and hang on for the win.
And Hoos decides to bring it across the start-finish line backwards there at the end. He's out there having fun, doing a little bit of celebrating.
The back of the car.
Yeah, crack the rear end on it, but he's throwing out some donuts right now and having some fun. He deserves it. Great win for him tonight, and just a great race. Every restart was picture perfect. But I think maybe now we'll take it to break, and we'll come back and give you the final rundown and get some guys up here in the booth with us to talk about their race.
He deserves to be able to celebrate that one. First win on the 2015 Season 2 campaign. Matt Hoos wins at the Langley Speedway. We'll try to catch up with him, Ronald Henry, Mike Holloway, and some other drivers. The post-race show on the Global Sim Racing channel from the Langley Speedway coming up in just a moment. Back live at the virtual Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. The Hampton 75 is in the books with round 6 of 11 on the 2015 Season 2 Championship with the Bootleg Racing League Outlaw Modified Series on GSRC. Another exciting one in the bag, Sean, and we'll give you the full field rundown in the GSRC finishing results from what was a smaller field than normal, but still packed the regular punch. Your race winner this evening is Matt Hoos in the number 21 machine. Coming home in second tonight, Ronald Henry in the Club Canada entry with a P2 when it's all said and done after late contact. A third place to Holloway, Tim Knott with fourth. Ryan Nuss ends up in fifth after starting on pole.
Yeah, and Donnie Moore, tough break there at the end. We talked about it a lot there. He's going to wind up sixth. Philip Temples, he was up in the hunt there for a while, and tough break there at the end for him also. He's going to finish seventh. Kenny Morris had trouble with the car all night, unfortunately, and only finishes a lap down, but back there in eighth spot. And Ernest Brown, we talked about his trouble throughout the night too, and whereas he was able to get a couple laps back, just couldn't make it happen. Finishes 2 laps down, and in ninth place, he started up in fourth tonight.
We'll tell you that 31 machine, Mike Holloway, had an interesting night. He comes home in third position, and I'm caught up down on the pit lane with the driver of the number 31 machine. Mike, you guys started P6 tonight. Come home in third. You were part of a very exciting battle up front. Got a little bit involved in that one. Were able to hang on at the end, avoid late race contact. You walk away with a podium this evening in the Sun Drop, number 31. How'd you guys get the job done?
Well, it was just slow, steady, and patient. The race fell into a really good rhythm there the first half of the race. By all standards for this high-powered car in this track, that was a pretty tame race, so I was just able to sit there and ride it out mostly.
Coming off of what was 1 week ago, a checkered flag in that. Now the 31 comes home third tonight. It was a good race. 9 cars, a little bit less than what we normally see. Did that affect the race at all, or was it pretty much as intense as it is every week?
I think what you saw tonight was probably what you would have saw, regardless how many cars we had. I mean, it was the usual suspects up front. The racing was about the same. So, we always want more cars here. We like to see people show up, but I think whenever we have small fields, we can still put on a good show.
Things got very interesting there at the end. If you were able to get that thing turned maybe 2 more feet, you would have been able to steal a second, but everybody in front of you goes on record. If you look back, is there anything you guys could have done differently in that Sun Drop 31, or do you think P3 was a good finish, all things considered?
Oh, I think it's definitely a good finish. I really think we were a 4th place car. I was wearing the back bumper of the 19 out, but I really don't think I had anything to get around him, so but for that late race caution there, I think we were a 4th place car. I'm okay with that.
Well, you're able to find yourself in the right spot at the right time as opposed to some of the guys in front of you. Your team comes home with a 3rd place tonight. Another solid finish, backing up a great one just 1 week ago. Mike, before we let you go, is anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Lowell and Matt and the whole Bootleg Racing League. I mean, they really work hard week in, week out, put on a good show for us and give us a good place to race. So much appreciation to them, my family, and brought on a new sponsor this week, Sun Drop, so got to give a shout out to them too.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Mike. Again, congratulations, a solid finish. Enjoy your off week, and we'll see you when we get back racing at Irwindale later on in the month.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Again, that is the driver that comes home in third. The Sun Drop, number 31, Mike Holloway with a P3. A little bit further down the pit lane, just one pit stall next to me, actually, who qualified in 7th. Sean Ambrose, you've caught up with the driver that ends up in 2nd position after a chaotic finish for 2 weeks in a row. You're with Ronald Henry.
Ronald Henry, 2nd place finish. Congratulations. It was a little tense out there tonight, huh?
Yeah, it sure was. I got into 2nd place for a while there. I thought I was putting enough pressure on Matt to make a mistake, and he did one, but he cut down pretty fast, so I couldn't sneak my nose in. And then Donnie put his nose underneath me, and I gave him room. And at the end there, I thought same thing was going to happen except reverse rolls, but I guess we touched, and I'm really sorry about that, Donnie, again. Didn't mean to.
Well, hey, it is what it is. It's racing, man, and because you were racing, you got a second place finish, and congratulations to you. But hey, the big question of the night for me right now is I got to know here: is the team for sale? Because I'm looking at this for sale sign on the back of your car, and I'm kind of wondering what's going on here.
Well, actually, that's Neff's car, Brian Neff. You let me write it tonight. It's for sale, and he was suspended tonight. I have contracts negotiations ongoing with my sponsors, so I tried to put a little bit of pressure on them, and I won the super late model race tonight, and second place in the SKs. I think I'll be back with my main sponsor next week.
Okay, well that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Tough that we couldn't get Neffy in here tonight, but that's all right. We're happy to have you, and good to see you running the Winn-Dixie paint scheme for him there. But congratulations again. Who would you like to thank tonight here? As we let everybody talk about their sponsors, friends, and family here at this point. Give a shout out to whoever you want to there, Ronald.
All right. Well, first I just want to congratulate Matt for I put a lot of pressure on him, and so did Donnie when he was in second, and he held his line. There was nothing we could do against Matt tonight. Congratulations for the win. I'd like to thank my buddy there, Brian Neff, for letting me ride his car tonight. And also, again, Lowell putting this up together. And you guys in the broadcast booth, you're doing one hell of a job.
Well, we sure appreciate that. And, again, congratulations to you. It's going to be a good points night for you. You're sitting ninth in the points right now. And this is going to give you a boost, put you up there in the middle now in the top 10. And we congratulate you, and we look forward to seeing you after Memorial Day weekend, as you guys are going to have the day off next week.
Yep, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Right.
Well, hey, be safe out there, and we will see you next time on the track, Ronald.
Yep, sure. The pleasure's all mine, man.
All right, Evan, we'll get back to you, and I believe you're going to catch up with our winner down there in Victory Lane.
The car looks like it got through some late race contact. That was during the celebration. He avoided the late race contact, capitalizes on the absence of our championship leader, goes to the top spot, takes home the checkered flag tonight. We've caught up on the pit lane with the driver of the number 21, Matt Hoos. Matt, first off, congratulations on the win. Taking advantage of the circumstances to take the points lead out of tonight, but that one was wild. You had about 5 guys within 0.7 of a second of each other, all trying to run you over for 15, 20 laps straight, and you held on there.
Yeah, we did, but the way our season's gone, I wasn't about to give up the lead without a fight. They were going to have to move me. This track has not been good to me in the history, so I just knew I had to hang on to the bottom and make them either go high or move me out of the way.
But you were racing there. Donnie was on your back bumper for a lot of that, and both of you entered tonight tied in the championship standings. 1 point behind championship leader Christopher Hensley, who did not make a start. He'll drop out of that position, and now after the late race troubles to the number 26 team, it makes that points gap just a little bit bigger than it would have been rolling forward on. But you finally get that first win on the year, and it was an exciting one nonetheless at Langley. Started third in this one. How was it getting up through the field, and how was it handling? We saw a lot of guys struggling with loose ones. We saw some guys struggling with tight ones. How was that 21?
Well, that's what I was struggling with, was the chin and being tight in the center of the corner. That's where Donnie was able to catch me. I had to slow up a lot more in the center in order to get the run off. Otherwise, he would have been able to get underneath me. And I knew where we stood in the points. I knew Donnie and I were tied going into this week, and so I had to stay in front of him no matter what happened at the end of the race. But I just, thank Donnie for running me as clean as he did, and I was expecting a lot more, to be honest with you.
Well, it's exactly what you guys did. You stayed out front. You take home the checkered flag. Now that you have worked to get to the top spot in this championship, we roll forward. Still a handful of races to go. Do you guys have a 21 machine that can compete starting with our next race at Irwindale?
Well, I think we've struggled in our SK series. Supers I've caught on to this season, and we had the points lead over in that series also. But this car here, that I've been struggling with, and I say struggling, but just haven't won anything. We finished, solidly top 5. So as long as we just continue to do that the rest of the season, there is guys faster, but we just got to remain solid and stay out of trouble, and we should be okay.
Well, you did everything right tonight. You end up atop the pile tonight. You end up atop the pile in the championship, exiting tonight as well. Congratulations, Matt. Sponsors and shout-outs. Anybody while we got you, who will you want to thank?
Well, like to thank Jags for coming on board this season, and also the guys at No Bull Motorsport. Myself and Lowell, when we put this thing together, we just had a idea in mind of people we want to race with, and we definitely found them. We got a great group of guys that we race with. And speaking of Lowell, I'd like to say thoughts and prayers with his family today, as he missed tonight due to a death in the family. So we wish them well, and we'll be back again next week.
Thanks for talking with us, Matt. Again, congratulations. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend off break, and we'll see you back at Irwindale Speedway on the 30th.
All right, thanks, guys.
So that is your winner tonight, Sean Ambrose. Matt Hoos takes it home, and again, a double whammy, we'll call it. I don't know if it was, you know what, I'll echo what you said. It was on like Donkey Kong at the end. Second week in a row, we say late race contact under the lights. It's the full moon, I guess. I'll blame it on that.
Yeah, let's blame it on the full moon for sure. What a race! It really was an exciting race, and I agree. I don't think the car count really mattered. We did see that usual cast of suspects up there at the end, and they put on a great show for us. That battle between first and fifth was a good one all night, and what Ronald Henry did after that late caution to come back and get a second place finish was everything short of incredible. The next race, we're going to take the week off next week, and then we're going to head on out to California, hit Irwindale Speedway. One of the great things about being here in iRacing is Irwindale Speedway will live forever. But I'm afraid here in real life, the Irwindale Speedway may be on its way to being an outlet mall, from what I understand here recently. So tough track there, though, at Irwindale. Fifth, half a mile with progressive banking all the way around 6, 9, and 12 degrees. And that is going to present quite a challenge for these guys. We will see certainly a fast race, and they'll probably be back up to full speed with 14, 15 cars out there in a couple of weeks. And I'm sure the race for the championship will definitely heat up out there in California, Evan.
Yeah, it may become the next USA International Speedway where we were earlier, which in Lakeland, Florida, got torn down for some sort of building development. Nothing happened, and it is just a parking lot. I need to get to Irwindale, Sean, now that you mentioned that. I need to try to get there for a race before they take it down. It is such an exciting track, and we're going to be heading to it for what is going to be, no doubt, a very exciting event. But until then, we put a bow on it tonight at the Langley Speedway. All is said and done after a quick one here with just 4 cautions, 9 drivers. Matt Hoos wins a late race thriller to get his first win on the year, and as well take the championship lead heading into Irwindale in round 7 in 2 weeks' time. Do need to thank all of the people that make our stream possible, along with everybody that tunes in. iRacing.com for giving us such a great sim to be able to do this on. XSplit, the Audio Technica Corporation, Aver Media USA as well. Also need to thank Dougie Beard for providing our camera sets, and Eric Eckholm for providing us with our music. If you want more GSRC, no problem. Find us online at theglobalsimracingchannel.com. We also have a Twitter at GSR Channel, and through Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. Do want to echo the thoughts of our race winner, Matt Hoos. Want to keep our thoughts and prayers with Lowell Jules' family tonight. Was not out on track in that Edge Auto Concepts entry. Not here tonight due to a death in the family, so do want to extend our thoughts to them. We hope to see Lowell back at the racetrack when we go to Irwindale. Coming up this week, a lot of exciting racing in the next 7 days. Sunday, May the 17th, tomorrow, Pacific Major Season 2, Race 4. Sean, the Coke 600, you're going to be on that. Can you give anybody a quick teaser?
Yeah, 4 hours of side-by-side fender crunching action tomorrow night. We're gonna go at the 600, baby. It's on, and it's gonna be a long Sunday night. But if you can't get your racing fix in tomorrow night on GSRC, then you just can't get your fix, man.
And then also coming up this week, the following day, so Monday, back-to-back, the 3-Wide Racing League goes on for round 9 at 10 o'clock Eastern and 7 o'clock Pacific time from the Michigan International Speedway. Our extended schedule you see on the screen for everything coming up with GSRC. Again, all of that information and more can also be found out online. But until then, on behalf of the broadcast crew this evening at the Langley Speedway, next to myself is Sean Ambrose. Our director this evening is Kevin Brown. Myself, Evan Pasoko. Thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations to Matt Hoos. We got a change atop the championship. Everybody enjoy and have a safe Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time from Irwindale, California.